Hey, this is Joey Vera from Armored Saint, and you're watching CMS TV.
I read that you did the drum parts with a tape machine. How did that happen, and how did that impact the overall sound of?
I think that was a big experience, because the last time we were working with a tape machine was in the end of the 80s. And from that time, as we started digital recording, what was more common is it was more payable, it's not so expensive. But a friend of my drummer, Tony, he's running a studio with a tape machine.
Okay.
And with the analog test, and asked him, "You still recording the band with a machine from the 70s? He said, "Yes, we're still recording bands with it. But the thing is, if you're recording the drums with it, and you are a drummer, you just get one chance. And if you have any mistake in the end, you have to replay from the beginning.
Right.
And I remember that we put a couple of songs, putting 2 or 3 versions of a song, and decided later before we start mixing what we take. And our drummer, he did a great job. He just did one take. You just get one guitar on a headphone and starts playing the drums. It was amazing. And this guy told me the sound is better if you're recording on tape. I don't know, because I'm deaf anyway. I cannot do any difference.
Right.
But the problem is, in the end, is everything is getting digital. Because when we master this album, the mastering engineer told me we have to compress the whole file, because people are listening to the music on a smartphone. And if you have a widespread open production like in the 80s, with a analog recorded drum kit and the guitars left and right, and you listen on a smartphone, you didn't get the guitars.
Right.
Because it's coming from the middle, so they have to compress the whole file. That's the way it is nowadays.
Chris Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And today on the show, it is time to get with one of the legends of thrash metal. The band is Sodom. They have a brand new release called The Arsonist. June 27th is the date that you will be buying it, and you will be thrashing your necks off. It's a fantastic record, and here to talk all about it, the main man himself, Tom Angelripper. Tom, how are you, man?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to talk to you, man. It's great to talk to you about The Arsonist. Great record. It's really fun. There it is.
I get it today, the first copy of it. It's always, I like the day when I hold this in my hand after all the works, and I really appreciate it.
Right. Well, man, after doing it this long, man, I mean, you could have, I'm going to take a guess here. When you started this, you didn't even look to a second record, let alone 20 records or whatever you guys have done at this point. Are you surprised that you guys are still, not only still here, because anybody could just keep doing it, but to be doing it still at such a high level? Are you surprised?
No, I think other people ask me, you got so many records out, and you was in the scene since 82, I think it's a result of hardworking men, and I'm still creative. I'm still want to do this, and I think the latest record was 5 years ago. That was Genesis 19, and that we've had a lot of time to write this album during the Corona times, and after Corona went, we start touring a lot around the world, so it needs a long time to release a new album. It's my life, it's I'm still creative, writing songs. We have a new songwriter in the band, which is my drummer Tony, who got to wrote 4 or 5 songs on this album and putting everything together,
Sure. Is it harder now to write songs because you don't want, I mean, you've written so many now.
Yeah.
a lot of times you might catch yourself kind of redoing stuff that you've done in the past, especially 20, 25 years ago in the past. Do you catch yourself doing that? And is it harder to kind of find new riffs and new areas to launch from?
I think, yes, I think so. But when we start writing songs, we don't try to get any influence from outside. We don't
Mm-hmm.
want to listen to other bands, or we don't want to know what we've done on the last album. We just came up with guitar riffs, and I think there is no influence from outside. I think we are not a typical thrash metal band. We can do what we want. We are just able to write good guitar riffs. Putting everything together in the rehearsal room, because I have to put my lyrics on it. I'm the singer of the band. Um, but in this kind of new album, that Tony wrote four or five songs, and
Mm-hmm.
he wrote completely different other songs than Frank Blackfire. Frank is more the old school, thrashy, Ancient Orange style guitarist.
Sure.
And York is coming more from the epic metal scene. And Tony's coming from the black and death metal scene. So the guitar riffs he came up with are completely different. But it doesn't matter what kind of guitar riffs you do, what kind of music. We have to try to keep the typical Sodom trademarks in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Which in the end is my vocals, and my bass sound, maybe.
Sure. With the songs that Tony wrote, did you find that you had to change what you were writing to because it's a new style than you've written to in the past?
I think it's not a new style, but he came up with some other guitarists. You know, uh, for me, it's very important to realize it is a good song or a bad song. I
Mm-hmm.
think we recorded, 16 songs, where we have to choose just 12 for the album. And if a song is not so good, sometimes I get a song, I don't know what to do with it. I have to put my lyrics on it, and I can't work with it. So we cancel it. But the thing is, when somebody came up with a guitar riff with an idea, we always start rehearsing, and starting a jam session with the song, putting everything together. But Tony's a songwriter and a good guitarist. But the guitars are played by Frank and York on this album. But I never mind. I think it's a good song, and I have many ideas for putting my lyrics on it, whereas the chorus lines and putting everything together with the bridge and the pre-chorus, whatever. And in the end, we got a new song.
Mm-hmm. When you are writing songs, and I'm curious about this for you, do you hear a riff and then write lyrics to it, or do you have a collection of lyrics and then you wait to hear a song that might match it?
Yes, I have always a couple of lyric ideas, and sometimes I wake up in the night, writing something down, on a sheet of paper, just.
Mm-hmm.
And but for me, it's better when I get a guitar riff or I get a pre-arrangement, to start writing, to put it on the point. Um, but there is no special way for writing a song for Sodom. I remember back when I got a guitarist from Uncle Tom, it's called Alex. He
Mm-hmm.
said, just write lyrics, give me the lyrics, and I'm going to write a song about it. Sometimes it works in a different way, but there is no special way for writing it. But I
Sure.
always have some lyric ideas, some title ideas, what I'm going to use for the next songs.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, Tom, let's dig into the record a little bit. I always try to start with my favorite song, and this is an easy one for me on this record. It's Trigger Discipline. I love it. I'm sure everybody's telling you that they feel the Slayer reference to it, which I do as well. It definitely sounds sort of Slayery, but it definitely sounds like you guys. I read though that you said this is the toughest song on the album for you guys to do. What made this song so difficult for you?
Um, I think, yeah, the first question was when I start doing my vocals in the studio.
Hmm.
I have different styles for singing. Like it's like Tobaraya, getting very high to the point.
Hmm.
I also are able to do the shouting style like Kronos from Venom, or more growly like a death metal singer. And in this case, on this song, we didn't know what's the best for it. So
Hmm.
I recorded the song in different vocal lines, in different vocal styles. And in the end, when we start mixing, we try to choose what is the best for the chorus lines, or for the bridge, whatever. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to decide, because I'm able to sing everything.
Right. It's a good problem to have.
But I like the song. I like the guitar riffing a lot. It's a very speedy. I like the song. It has nothing to do with Slayer, in my opinion, because
Sure.
of the sort of trademarks in it. But I like it. And
Mhm.
it's really heavy. There are a couple of songs that are more slow, more mid-tempo songs like "Return to God" in parts. There was some melodic stuff in it. Why not? Sort of, we can do everything.
Sure. Another one that stands out, Tom, is Battle of Harvest Moon. I love the historical aspect of it. For you, as the lyric writer, when you decide to tackle something that is historical like this, do you research it, or is this just because you watch a ton of movies or read a ton of books? I mean, where do you get your knowledge from?
I saw a lot of Vietnam War movies, which inspired me in the beginning
Okay.
when I started writing lyrics about Vietnam War, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I did research. Battle of Harvest Moon was just one battle in the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm always interested in. I don't want to write about the big war and the big politics behind. It doesn't matter. For me, it's interesting. Soldiers fighting in a war. It's like for example, Tepophobia. It's about the World War One, where a soldier is fighting on the front line in a trench, and he gets scared that when a grenade exploding next to you, you get buried alive by all the debris.
Mm-hmm.
This has nothing to do with the politics. The small soldier even don't know why he's fighting in a war.
Right.
And the dictators who are going to send the people to the war, they're never fighting themselves in any wars. That is something I'm always interested in. I don't want to describe the big politics behind. I don't want to tell the people who is the good or the bad guy. That is something. There is no political opinion in it.
Sure.
And Harvest Moon is just one battle from a Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Hey, it's Chris Akin from the classic metal show Chris Akin Presents and the Seth Williams Show, straight from the uncensored heart of the CMS network. We've just been crowned a certified Rumble creator, and that means we're bringing the heat. All our shows, commercial free, baby. Advanced episode drops sometimes months before the normal release, so you're not stuck waiting. You'll get all this plus exclusive content for Rumble Premium subscribers that'll blow your mind. And with Rumble Premium, you'll get every CMS Network show and all of Rumble's other videos with no ads and no fluff. This is our official home, Rumble. It's raw, powerful, and unfiltered. You want in? Just hit us up at rumble.com/register/classic metal show to sign up for free commenting, chat live, and just your ability to join the chaos of all of our shows. Then while you're there, swing by any of our videos, smash that Rumble Premium button, and level up. Subscribe now. Don't sleep on this. Hit the link in the description. Well, Tom, the other one I wanted to ask you about is, of course, the single, the Arsonist, or the title track rather, the Arsonist. I read that you did the drum parts with a tape machine. How did that happen, and how did that impact the overall sound of?
I think that was a big experience, because the last time we were working with a tape machine was in the end of the 80s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And from that time, we started digital recording. What was more common is it was more payable. It's not so expensive. But a friend of my drummer, Tony, he's running a studio with a tape machine.
Okay.
And with the analog test, and asked him, "Do you still recording the band with a machine from the 70s?" He said, "Yes, we're still recording bands with it, But the thing is, if you're recording the drums with it, and you are a drummer, you just get one chance,
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any mistake in the end, you have to replay from the beginning,
Right.
And I remember that we put a couple of songs, putting 2 or 3 versions of a song, and decided later before we start mixing what we take, And our drummer, he did a great job, He just did one take. You just get one guitar on a headphone and starts playing the drums, It was amazing. And this guy told me the sound is better if you're recording on tape. I don't know, because I'm deaf anyway, I cannot I cannot hear any difference,
Right.
But the problem is in the end, is everything is getting digital, because when we master this album, the mastering engineer told me we have to compress the whole file because people are listening to the music on a smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a widespread open production like in the 80s with a analog recorded drum kit and the guitars left and right, and you listen on a smartphone, you didn't get the guitars,
Right.
because it's coming from the middle, so they have to compress the whole file. That's the way it is nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that we don't want to use any samples for the drums, like
Right.
snare samples or some drummers using trigger signals and putting plugins on it, whatever, I hate it, I want to have an authentic drum sound, a natural, organic drum sound, like in the 80s,
Right. Definitely.
I paid the price. I know that is expensive working in a studio like this, But for me, that was a big experience with a desk, The band is sitting in the studio drinking a beer, Nowadays, bands are recording all over the world,
Mhm.
The drummers living in America, the guitarists sending files from England, whatever,
Sure. Do
And
you miss the old
that
days?
was a big experience again,
Do you miss doing it the old way where everybody just got in a room and sweated it out until you found the right songs?
I miss it so much, I remember when we recorded in the 80s or later, the band is in the studio for 3 or 4 weeks, maybe, and being together the whole time, supporting each other, drinking a beer in the evening, That is the time I really miss,
Right.
But you never find any studios with tape machines and everything,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
it's getting very expensive nowadays.
Right.
I
As
know it's
is
very
everything.
if you have a good computer in your rehearsal room with interface equipment, you can record it for free, You
Yeah.
just need some good microphones,
Mm-hmm. No question. One last question about a song on the record, Tom, before we go to other things quickly. I wanted to ask you about Witch Hunter, which is obviously a tribute to Chris Witch Hunter. What memories do you have of him, and how did you approach writing a tribute song like this?
Because because I have to tell you, he was my best friend in the beginning when we started the band,
Mm-hmm.
And from that time, Chris Witch Hunter is always present, I remember back when we re-recorded the older material for the years anniversary sampler, our drummer said, he said, we listened to Obsessed by Cruelty, the all that stuff, and he said that was a really good drummer. Was a chaotic drummer, but he created an own style, And Tony tried always to combine the chaotic witch hunter drumming with the accuracy from nowadays when you're playing drums, He's always present, And then I came up with the idea for writing a song about him,
Mm-hmm.
But I want to describe him as a hero, he had a big impact on the metal scene in the beginning, in the 80s, But his life went so tragic because of alcohol abuse and all the
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Sure.
Very sad. But I like the song, and I think I've heard people say this is a really good Sodom song, And when we're going to play this live, the people want to scream. I think they're going to scream it,
Sure. Well, Tom, since you mentioned live, the new release does come with a bonus EP of like classic live performances from what 82 to 2002. What was it
No,
about
that's
that?
not. No, that is not true. That's just this live recording from 22. Yeah.
22. Okay. What made you pick those songs from that tour to do?
I, the first my decision was to make a live album, putting in a box set,
Sure.
But the record company told me, oh, you cannot put another album in a box set because it's a studio album,
Right.
And then I came up with it, just mixing 5 or 4 songs for the EP.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a big fan of the Slayer Undead EP,
Sure.
And we choose 5 songs for it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is something, if you're planning a box set with a new album, you have to put some material in it, some stuff in it, some records in it, because people are going to pay the price. I want to get something special, And I know it's very expensive, you know. So we get a live record in it, you know, and we did a special shape design for the shape disc, you know,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the collector scene, you know.
Right.
And the songs are great, you know. So we had a couple of shows recorded on a digital computer, and we start mixing it. We choose 5 songs for the EP, you know.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, Tom, obviously with the new record does come the $1 million touring question. What does it look like for Sodom for the rest of this year, and I'd imagine going into 2026?
I don't know. I'm sure you heard about it. I want to
Mm-hmm.
do a break after this. After you know, we have 2 upcoming shows in Copenhagen
Mm-hmm.
and one show in Germany, Rock Arts Festival, and then it's gone for me. You know.
Is it just for you, or is the band sitting down for a while?
No, no, the band. I talked to the band last year. You know, I think Tony's working in 4 or 5 different other bands who
Okay.
has playing the drums. I talked to Frank. He wanted to push up his own solo project,
Mm-hmm.
and he's running a guitar school. And Jorg is working in a record store, and also I think they are safe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the band is, I'm the band, I'm the solo,
Right.
you know. Nobody can use the band name, you know.
Sure.
I hate it if other musicians get the band names. I get problems just about the band name, you know, the band logo, whatever, you know. No, for me, it's gone, you know. For me, I want to spend more time with my good old friends, my family, with my hunting, you know, whatever I do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And my doctor said, I'm 60 years old, you know, you're in a very good condition, you know, but you have to slow it down a little bit, you know, do
Sure.
some other things, you know. I'm still working on music because we are working on a back catalog, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At the time we are working for the Get What You Deserve re-release, you know, and the BMG, the record company, bought the complete back catalog from SPV, so they want to
Okay.
re-release all the stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be very busy. I just want to do my home office, you know.
Sure. Makes sense. Well, let
Uh,
me ask you, Tom, when did you decide, or when did you start feeling like you didn't want, you've been doing it for 40 years, and it has been record tour for basically the whole time. When did you decide that you didn't want to? Was it COVID when you were off probably for the first extended time in your career?
no, that was later. I think
Okay.
that was last year when we played in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we just went play one show in a Mexico Hell Fest. I don't know if that's the name, no. So we played one show for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and we've been traveling for 8 or 9 days, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're getting my age, you know, you don't want to waste time, you know,
Right.
being on airports, you know, and trains, shitty hotels, whatever. I want to spend my time on stage. That's what I'm living for, you know. But I don't want to waste time anymore, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, I talked to the band ladies. I want to slow down the things a little bit, you know. And they say, that's your decision. We're gonna support you. We are loyal to you, to your decision, and it's your life, you know.
Sure.
I get
Is
some trouble with the record company because they said, well, okay, you have a new album out and you don't present it on stage, you know. You are able to play all the festivals in Germany around or worldwide. You can tour, you know. I know decided something like this is always uncomfortable for everybody, you know.
mm-hmm. Well, you
But now the
look,
time is right, you know, and I don't want to can tell you when I want to plan to coming back, everything, you
sure.
know. I don't want to set myself under pressure, you know.
And you
I
don't
just
want
want to
to, and
keep
you
on
don't want to
going
break
and
down on stage either. You don't want to get to where you can't do it anymore, but you're still doing it because that's all you've done.
yeah. That's another thing, you know. Maybe you get some serious sickness, you know, you're not more able to do it, you know. I'm still able, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still strong enough to be on stage, be on tour, you know, and I'm creative enough to write new songs, rehearsing, whatever, you know.
Right.
But that's not the thing, you know. The thing is my private life, you know, with my family and all stuff. I have to check up some other things, you know.
Sure. One
It's like
last one. Oh,
Tom Araya, that's the same problem. He got
yeah.
more health issues, you know, but he also told in an interview, you know, when he's bringing an album out, they were touring around the world about a year, and he never see his children growing up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to spend more time with his family, you want to spend more time on his farm, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And now I understand what you mean,
Sure. Do you, and the last question before we wrap it up here, but do you see this as a permanent kind of a retirement, or do you think that
No,
maybe you'll come and do, I don't know, Wacken if you're invited, or
no.
Sweden Rock or any of that kind of stuff?
I still get offers for festivals coming up
Sure.
in the summer, I talked to my booker and said, no. And I think there were big festivals like Hellfest, Wacken, Full for whatever. They were all interested, especially when you get a new album out,
Right. Mm-hmm.
I know. I said, no. I decided to stop now. It- exactly, especially on when we do the Rock Hearts Festival. This will be the last show, And I don't have any plans for coming back,
Well,
We will see. We will see what happens,
well, I'll tell you this, Tom. As a fan, I hope you change your mind, but I'm happy for you if you don't. I mean, because I love the band. So,
I
brand
know
new.
there was a lot of fans go, oh, we want to see you live, and I know, but don't be sad, it's just for a time,
Well, and everybody had 40 years of chances. So, if you didn't see you by this point, then you just lose. I guess that's kind of the
Yeah,
way rock and roll goes. But well,
exactly.
Tom, obviously, man, the new record is June 27th. It is The Arsonist. It is Sodom. And where's the best place we could tell people to go to actually buy something, Tom? Because we don't want to tell them to just stream it.
Yeah, don't stream it. Try to get the vinyl version of
Yes.
this album, I don't know, the box set is some expensive. I think it's $70, $80, whatever, If you don't have to spend the money for a box, you're gonna buy the vinyl.
Okay. And where would we buy it at?
Yes.
Where?
So you were gonna help the band. I want to thank the fans for the support. They're gonna buy the stuff. They're
Sure.
gonna buy the T-shirts and pay the price for the tickets. They keep the band alive, and that is for me very important to say all the time. The band is living because we have loyal fans who pay the price.
Right on. Well, one more time, it is Sodom, The Arsonist, June 27th. And Tom, this has been fun. Thanks for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Welcome to the ultimate experience for hard rock and heavy metal fans. Introducing the CMS Locals VIP app, your #1 destination for all things on the CMS network. Dive into the classic metal show, Chris Akin Presents, Seth Williams Show, and more, all in one place. It's free to get started or elevate your experience with a subscription for just $4.99 a month. Go commercial free, get advanced releases, and enjoy exclusive bonus episodes. Plus, it's the prime spot to chat with like-minded fans who love raw, uncensored commentary. Are you ready to rock? Download from your iOS or Android store, search for the CMS network, and join the community now. It's free, it's easy, and it's the best way to keep our shows with you every single day. Install the Locals.com app today and follow the CMS network.